Awaken by ShanYe is definitely my favorite 3D printed blaster right now. It's a single shot break action pistol that hits reasonably hard. In fact, it hits about as hard as any other pro blaster out there. I'm a big fan of pistols because it's a complex shape. I really like the visually and fun, interesting reloading mechanism. I like the skill that you could develop constantly reloading this thing to get better and better at it. And that makes every place shot far more enjoyable for me. That's just how I like to nerf. Not to mention this thing looks sick as heck. So imagine my surprise when there's an upgraded Awaken. Yeah, the box is a little messed up, and I hope everything in here survived. 3, 2, 1. Action! Oh god, there's so many packing peanuts. There's a lot of blaster here. Oh, it's got cute little charms. So this was sent to me by Phantom Toys. Link down below if you want to pick one up. I normally love these darts, but the ones with the glow-in-the-dark heads haven't been that good for me. Ooh. Whee! The more I dig, the more stuff I find. This is a packed package. We got some rails and we got some dart holders, so it looks like you could use whatever you want. We've got some amazingly cool sights. I am really looking forward to these. You also might notice there's a lot more blaster here because this is more of a carbine than it is a pistol setup. Now, I do have a more carbine option of the original Awaken, but this is a lot more. This is the receiver right here, and you can already, oh my god, those are fiber. Oh, those are carbon fiber. So you can see our plunger tube and everything in there. And of course, we have to add the barrel. Oh, it's so nice. Here is the stock to the blaster. Now, this is not, from what I see here, an optional part, as it is the entire grip of the blaster. I am fine with this because this will do nothing but help our accuracy, but it gives you something to have a third point of contact when you're breaking the barrel and stuff like that, and overall will just make the blaster a lot more usable. That being said, a stockless version is probably in development. Oh, the BCAR is integral to the barrel. It's actually in there. There's bearings and, oh, okay. And I have 0 instructions here, but I'm sure I can figure this out. Now it looks like our barrel is going to come in from the back, push down. Got a bunch of screws and grease and everything in here. I'm sure we will be using all of that. These are super important. Keep these safe because these do wear out if you crank the barrel compression all the way down. Ask me how I know. Take that and we put that pin in and it captures it. That's really cool. And we're just gonna put that in there like so. We're gonna put that screw in, which it does come with a screwdriver. Then we take this loose screw and we're probably gonna put it in there. Just like that. All right, you'll have to excuse me. I need to put a fan off screen because I'm just drenched. There's no insulation in this building, which is horrible. It makes summers way too hot and it makes winters way too cold. All right, so our first sight looks like it probably goes on before we tighten that down. Oh, I just unthreaded the whole BCAR. Okay. You can take out the BCAR if you want to. So I'm guessing we go like this. Take our rear sight, which is adjustable for windage, which is pretty cool. And of course, back here we've got mounting points, and I'm going to add in some dart holders. It's just turning into the perfect modded sledge fire now, ain't it? And it's complete. And it's awesome. Oh, it's really comfy. The stock is like maybe an inch or two short, but it is supposed to be a compact carbine. That sight is kind of insane. The bright front fiber optic fits in to the hole right there. So as long as you can line those up, that's really cool. Hopefully that's accurate. Carbon fiber for the hinges, carbon fiber for the barrel. Instead of having the big old lever, we've got that button right there. No shells this time. It will just take any kind of dart, full length or otherwise. Of course, we'll be using short darts. Picatinny rail right here, right above your barrel. Cheek rest right here. And then of course, these can be Picatinny or dart holders. Load in a dart here. We just press that in. Fits perfectly. Flip it closed, locked perfectly. And take our first shot. Trigger has a little bit of a take up, but it's also quite springy. Has a stop. Incredibly light trigger pull that is going to do a lot for your accuracy. Grip is nothing special. It's got a shelf right here for your middle finger, trigger finger right there. It's very comfortable. It's actually thinned up at the top and a little bit bigger towards the bottom. It actually contours your hand because it's actually thicker right here too. So it slopes down. It feels amazing. It feels amazing. A lot of people don't like things like this, especially with the stock. It's just more contact on your hand. So your shots feel really good. Size-wise, it's quite a bit bigger than the original Awaken, even if this thing had a stock on it, which I do have a stock one. In fact, I should go grab that. The stocked Awaken was pretty much just an Awaken with a stock on it, so there wasn't a longer barrel, though there's no reason why you couldn't put a longer one on it. Very compact, very clean. Boop, boop, boop. Shot the head off that dart. You wouldn't even need to have anything to break it down. Oh, that's sick. If you aren't hitting that like button yet, I don't know what the heck's wrong with you, because that is just cool. All right, let's see how easy this thing is. Takes a little bit of practice, but you could get there. When it comes to velocity, the Awaken 2.0 does not disappoint. Out of the box with your standard Adventure Force Pro darts, we were hitting velocities just about kissing 200 feet per second. That is well within the Pro Blaster velocity range. We can thank that bigger plunger tube and longer draw with that longer barrel for the improvements over the original Awaken. But if you want more, you can always swap to lighter darts like the Dart Zone Bamboo X2 darts and get over 220 FPS. That's a pretty considerable increase, and for most of you, that's gonna be way more than enough. And my goodness, does that smooth trigger pull give you some bonuses to your accuracy. Now, of course, my testing methods are pretty subjective. Some days I do good, some days I don't do good. But I have no qualms in saying the Awaken 2.0 is an excellently accurate blaster if you get the time to get good with it. Keep in mind it's a break action, so every single reload you're gonna have to get back on target again, and that will affect you in the long run. But that's also helping you build a fun skill. Not only can you get quicker at those reloads, but you could also get quicker on target. A skill that in foam flinging I think is highly underrated. You're not always gonna have your full auto 70 round thing turning a corner, firing at somebody who's 4 feet from you. And when all it takes is one dart to tag somebody out, yeah, this thing can get the job done. I did find the included sights a little weird to use. Not to say they're bad, I actually think they're really freaking cool. You basically line up the front fiber optic sight into the little pip hole so it kind of like fills it for you, so you always know when you have your front sight lined up. And then I guess you bisect the target with the top of the loop? I honestly don't know. I did ask the creator ShanYe about this, and not only did he say the sights are dialed into a distance twice what my actual range is, about 45 feet, but he said you're supposed to bisect the target with the front sight, which didn't really make sense to me. The guy did make it, so I assume he knows what he's talking about. But from my testing, it made a lot more sense if you use the front pip as something to let you know that your sights are aligned, and then bisect your target with the top of the loop. But I did find that to work pretty well. And this one does come with a Picatinny rail out of the box, so you can use whatever optic you want on it. I used my O-Sight S here, and the way I have this set up is pretty awesome because not only can I just use the sight, but the riser is just tall enough that I could still use the iron sight if I needed to. Incredibly tactical. So first things first, how does this compare to the original Awaken? Does this completely replace my original favorite blaster of all time? Yes and no, because nothing is ever a straightforward answer. This guy is just perfect. I can't do this with this. I mean, I can spin in it, it is very well weighted, but I just can't do this. If I could get a low mount riser for like an RMR red dot or something on this without a Picatinny rail, I would be very, very happy, and it's something I still will probably do. But at the end of the day, they are different blasters for different things. This is a heck of a lot harder to use than this. That being said, this is a heck of a lot easier to pack on you than this. It is a lot more effective to use, especially in a dedicated support role, which is the role I happen to like to fill, but it does not replace my original Awaken, which is a great thing for me. That being said, I have no problems thinking that this will probably have a configuration like this in the future, which could replace this one for me, because there are a lot of upgrades here. The most important upgrade, in my opinion, are the brass inserts in the breech, so you're not relying on just the little foam pads to make a seal. There's actually a piece of brass that inserts it into the barrel, help a lot with the seal and reliability. Also, the mix of materials is amazing. The carbon fiber hinges, the carbon fiber barrel cover, that's awesome. The integrated BCAR, that is just freaking sick. The manual catch release, because you can't really deprime this one, you just dry fire it. And extremely important to me, the ergonomics on this are so good. Don't get me wrong, this is excellent. I didn't really like the grip on the original Awaken's carbine version. This grip was so much better, it wasn't even funny. Realistically, you can't make this any better for me unless you were to ruin the ambidexterity of it. The stock is great. I do think the ammo holders are a little bit much. Quite honestly, having some kind of magazine mount here that I could just pull a dart out of the magazine and put it in would be far better. But overall, I feel like this is an upgrade unless you are a diehard of this design, which you could be, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is one of the most competitive break action blasters ever, which is saying a lot because break action isn't exactly competitive, but if you wanted to use a break action at a casual game and have a lot of fun and be pretty effective, this is probably the one for you. There are a lot of single shot blasters out there, and I'm not even done covering them all. But the Awaken 2.0 is definitely at the top of those thus far that I've reviewed. There's no shells to worry about, it's easy to use, and really the only thing I'm looking forward to from here is a blaster that utilizes this lever a little bit more. I still think the Awaken platform is being a little conservative with what this action is capable of. That is a lot of leverage. That could prime a very hefty spring, especially now that we're using carbon fiber hinge pieces. So I'm hoping from here we could just go nuts. Let's build the most powerful break action single shot breech loader possible in foam flinging. I've been thinking about it quite a lot recently, and probably the reason why I love break action so much is because they're simple. There are less things that can go wrong at the expense of actual firepower and effectiveness on the field. Which is why I say something like this fits into a support role. Somebody who sits in the back, takes pot shots, covers flanks, and harasses high threat targets. This is not the blaster for running face first in the opposing team, nor trying to run flanks. And the break action setup means this thing is reliable even with some of the worst darts you can scavenge out on the field. I'm sure we've all had that instance where we've picked up darts, shoved them into a magazine, and the blaster has jammed. With this, not only will you probably know by the time you're trying to load the dart into the blaster if it's bad or good, but even if it's just a little bit worn, as people are finding out with things like the motorized piston pump from X-Shot, is that it can cause a jam with some of those blasters. They're not good at using rough darts. These are a little bit better because the foam is only used to make a seal. You're physically pushing the dart into the barrel yourself, so you kind of can't jam it. And unless your foam is super far off, if it's just a little warped, there's a little bit of air that leaks around the foam, you're just gonna get a bit of a squid. For instance, this guy is pretty brand new, but let's ruin that, huh? Let's absolutely destroy this dart. So it's pretty bad. We'll try to get it back into a round shape. You would never want to use this in even a flywheel blaster, I feel, but if we put that in there, I can see that it's still making a pretty good seal in there. And luckily for us, it still fires perfectly, and that's the joy of a blaster like this. There's almost nothing that can go wrong. You're trading offensive power for increased reliability. Everything ShanYe makes, in my opinion, is gold. They can do no wrong in my eyes, and I'm gonna have to do a video on like all of the single shot blasters, including ShanYe's own Grain Rain, to really figure things out. But is it my favorite blaster ever? Probably not, but it's really high up on the list. The Awaken 2.0 is an amazingly good blaster and a worthy upgrade of the original Awaken.